17 strange laws and unusual customs found only in Scotland. Have you ever heard of being forbidden to go slow or being heavily fined for speaking in a local dialect? It sounds crazy, but in Scotland, such puzzling regulations are quite common. Today we will explore 17 laws and peculiar customs that exist only in Scotland, a country famous for its legendary tales, unique culture, and long history. Prepare yourself to be immersed in the mysterious and captivating world of this land right now. Number 17. Prohibition on slow driven. Driving slowly is indeed very safe, but in Scotland it is considered an annoying act. During Scotland's famous road trips, especially the North Coast 500, locals understandably get annoyed when tourists drive slowly. Because you're on vacation, it's easy to forget that people live here. While you're hanging out the car window to take pictures at 5 mph, those stuck behind you are trying to get to work. While you stop your car to point at a Highland cow, those behind you are trying to get their kids to school. While you're admiring the mountains, those stuck behind you are trying to get to a funeral. Drive carefully and appropriately. Take your time if you're unsure about some of the more precarious roads, but don't bother the locals by carelessly obstructing their daily business. Number 16. Men wearing skirts. If you see a man wearing a skirt in Scotland, don't ask him why. That's actually a kilt, one of Scotland's traditional garments. The kilt originated in Scotland in the 16th century. It was initially military attire due to its easy recognition during battles. You'd know an ally by the skirt. The first great kilt was not just a knee-length skirt, but a long piece of fabric wrapped around the upper body and draped over the shoulder. It wasn't until the 17th and 18th centuries that the kilt spread to neighboring countries and became known as the tartan skirts seen today. Kilts symbolize Scottish history and culture, primarily made of wool, offering comfort and elegance when worn. This short skirt is often pleated neatly and paired with distinctive tartan patterns representing strong family ties in Scotland. Kilts are not just an outfit but a symbol of important events in Scottish life, from weddings to traditional festivals. With their variety of colors and designs, kilts are not only a fashion statement but also a pride of Scottish culture. Number 15. Prohibition on identifying yourself as Scottish. Many tourists, especially those from the United States, feel a special connection to Scotland when they discover they have distant Scottish relatives. It's understandable to feel excited about this ancestral link and want to cherish this part of your heritage. However, it's important to recognize that having a distant Scottish relative doesn't necessarily make one Scottish in the same way as those born and raised in Scotland or those with a close cultural connection to the country. Scottish identity is complex and multifaceted, shaped by shared experiences, traditions, and a deep understanding of the culture. While it's great to honor your Scottish ancestors and learn more about your family history, it's important to do so respectfully. Claiming to be Scottish without a genuine connection to the country may be seen as insensitive or even offensive to those who truly are Scottish. Instead, show your interest in Scottish heritage by learning about Scotland's culture, history, and traditions. Engage with the local community, ask questions, and listen to their stories. By approaching your ancestral connection with openness, respect, and a willingness to learn, you can develop a more meaningful understanding of what it means to have Scottish roots without claiming an identity that isn't truly yours. Number 14. Prohibition on mimicking the Scottish CCC scent. Do you know what the most foolish thing you can do in Scotland is? It's mimicking their accent. While imitating the Scottish accent might seem fun, it's important to understand that doing so can be seen as rude or disrespectful to the locals. The Scottish accent is an integral part of Scotland's identity and culture, and attempting to mimic it without a deep understanding of its nuances and variations can be considered insensitive. Learning to speak authentically with a Scottish accent is a complex process that requires time, practice, and immersion in the local culture, not a 1 or 2 week trip. It's not something that can be easily mastered during a short visit to Scotland. Trying to do so might unintentionally offend those who grew up speaking with a Scottish accent and see it as a fundamental part of their identity. Instead of trying to mimic the accent, focus on appreciating the beauty and diversity of the Scottish way of speaking. Listen attentively to the locals and enjoy the unique rhythm and cadence of their language. If you're genuinely interested in learning more about the Scottish accent, consider asking respectful questions and showing a sincere desire to understand the cultural context behind it. Remember, the Scots have likely heard countless attempts to imitate their accent from tourists over the years. Rather than adding to this, show respect for their language and culture by interacting with them authentically and appreciating the Scottish accent, a beautiful and integral part of Scottish identity. Number 13. Don't call TTT England. If you hope to make friends with the locals, remember not to call them English. Just as Canadians and Americans share a border and are often confused with each other, Scots and English people are frequently mistaken for one another. The term British refers to all citizens of the United Kingdom, which includes England, Scotland, Wales, and Northern Ireland, and is an acceptable alternative in Scotland. However, if you refer to them as English, you might get a severe scolding on the spot. Historically, Scotland and England have had numerous wars and political conflicts. Although Scotland is now part of the United Kingdom, there are still movements for independence and desires to separate from England. Scots are very proud of their country and culture. Being called English can be seen as a disrespect to their identity and heritage, and it's no surprise that they might get angry with someone who disrespects their nation. Number 12. Bring insect repellent. If you plan to explore Scotland in the spring, insect repellent and even insect-proof hats and gloves are must-haves. In Scotland, midges are rampant during this time. Scottish midges are tiny insects that thrive in wet environments. They are attracted to humans and other animals and tend to swarm around people's heads and faces. They are bothersome because, unlike other types of flies, midges bite. Their bites can cause red, itchy spots on the skin. They can be annoying when you're trying to enjoy a lovely day outside, which is why you should never forget insect repellent when hiking in the Scottish Highlands. If you plan to spend time outdoors in Scotland, you should carry a bottle or two of insect repellent in your bag. Number 11. Don't camp randomly. In Scotland, you can hike and wild camp in most places. If it's not private land, you can usually pitch a tent and enjoy a free night's stay. This is known as the right to roam. However, this is not the case everywhere. You cannot camp in Loch Lomond and the Trossachs National Park unless you are on a designated campsite or have a camping permit. Of course, you also cannot camp on any private land without permission. This means if you ask a farmer or landowner if you can camp on their land, they will usually say yes. People in Scotland are incredibly friendly, hospitable, and warm. But absolutely do not leave anything behind when you leave. Trash, camping equipment, leftover food, everything must be cleared before you go. Number 10. Don't tip too much. You might have quite a bit of money and want to tip extra to the staff who served you on your trip to Scotland. But surprisingly, they might refuse your tip for a rather odd reason: you're tipping too much. Tipping is quite common in Scotland, but it's not a significant part of the culture here. You can round up to the nearest pound in most cases or add 10 to 15% to your bill in restaurants, but don't go overboard. If people treat you well and provide good service, yes, you can be generous, but don't be overly enthusiastic about it. They might think you have ulterior motives or that you think they are too poor. The locals seem quite sensitive about money. Tipping too much is discouraged, and even questioning money matters might earn you uncomfortable looks from the locals. Speaking of Scottish money, it looks different from English money, even though it's the same currency. And that's odd. But the people in Scotland already know it's odd, so they don't need you to tell them again. In fact, they quite like the difference. Number 9. Don't compare cities. No matter how much you like a particular city in Scotland, never say that it's better than the other cities. Don't tell people you prefer Glasgow over Edinburgh or vice versa. Scotland boasts many beautiful cities, each with its unique charm and atmosphere. Comparing them overlooks the distinct and special qualities of each city. Each city has its own community with pride in their home. Comparing and belittling one city can make the locals feel hurt and uncomfortable. Honestly, Scotland is an amazing country, and you may prefer one place over another. However, this is the result of your personal preferences, which may differ from others. Number 8. Don't say the Loch Ness Monster is fake. Let's be honest, we all know it's not real. But the Loch Ness Monster, or Nessie, is a beloved legend in Scotland. It is the country's most famous fictional export and is adored by some Scots. Nessie has become a symbol of Loch Ness and Scotland in general. The legend of Nessie has attracted many tourists from around the world to visit this region. Tourism related to Nessie has become an important source of income for this area. Nessie is also a symbol of Scottish national awareness and pride. It is a part of the country's unique cultural heritage and has become part of daily life for the Scots. The story of Nessie is passed down through generations and is part of the country's attractions and traditions. Some residents of this country can get quite worked up when someone mocks their monster, and they are ready to sit with you all day to argue until you are forced to believe it exists and is not fake. Number 7. Don't complain about bagpipes. If you visit Scotland right before a traditional bagpipe performance, trust me, you won't survive the noise in this country. The image of men in kilts playing music with bagpipes is probably too familiar to everyone when mentioning Scotland. These bagpipes are considered the national instrument and the best tool to express the musical identity of the Scottish Highlands. Over a long period of formation and development, bagpipes have many different looks and sounds. However, the most popular today are the bagpipes played by Scottish Highland players. The bagpipe is designed with 3 pipes to produce sound from the instrument, with a 4th pipe having 9 holes used to adjust the harmony and pitch. The bag's pipes are usually made from sheep or elk leather, used to hold air, and the musicians press on the bag with one arm to push the air out. There's no denying that hearing the sound evokes a sense of time-honored tradition for those who love Highland Scottish music. Every year in August, Glasgow, Scotland, hosts a competition for bagpipe performance skills. This competition lasts a week and attracts the best musicians worldwide. There will be many events with various competition categories, from solo performances to band competitions. Artists will use bagpipes to play traditional songs or popular contemporary songs of the time, but I advise you to visit only on the competition day, as arriving too early means being tortured by the daily practice sounds of these bagpipes. Number 6. Haunted. After enjoying some whiskey and feeling the need for a thrilling experience, you might consider visiting the famous haunted Edinburgh Castle in Scotland. Edinburgh Castle is renowned worldwide not only for its architecture but also for the mysterious and unexplained events that occur there. Because of these hauntings, it is also known as the most haunted place in Scotland. Edinburgh Castle was built in the 12th century, perched on Castle Rock, a large volcanic rock in a city of Edinburgh, Scotland, in the United Kingdom. The castle boasts unique architecture and a long history, shrouded in mystery with many eerie, unexplained stories. Previously, the castle was the main royal fortress of Scotland. Like many castles built as fortresses, Edinburgh Castle is a complex comprising battlements, towers and palaces accumulated from various historical periods and a network of dungeons. This historical site witnessed many deaths throughout Scotland's history. Consequently, it is rumored to be home to many restless spirits. The legends of Edinburgh Castle's ghosts have been around for hundreds of years. It is said that inside, there are many dungeons where prisoners were tortured to death. One prisoner tried to escape the haunted castle prison in a dung cart, only to be dumped over a cliff with sharp rocks below. The prisoner died a gruesome death in the stench of dung, harboring deep resentment. His vengeful spirit is said to try to push visitors off the walls. Many visitors to Edinburgh Castle have reported seeing a headless ghost playing a flute. Some have even claimed to feel cold hands gripping them while touring the area. These ghostly tales have only grown more numerous and eerie over time, including stories about the disappearing worker and mysterious bagpipe sounds. The castle has many basements and secret rooms, and a team of workers was once sent to the basement to check it out. The workers communicated through bagpipe sounds. However, on this occasion, the worker had just gone down, played a few notes on the bagpipes, and then fell silent, disappearing without a trace. Since then, many people have reported occasionally hearing bagpipe sounds emanating from the castle. Besides the bagpipes, many have also heard strange drumming sounds from Edinburgh Castle, though no drummer has ever been found. To this day, these mysterious stories remain unconfirmed, but Edinburgh Castle has become an attractive tourist destination for many seeking to uncover its secrets. Number 5. Don't ask about clans. You don't come from a clan. They don't come from a clan, and nobody in Scotland cares about clans. This is not the 17th century. If any tourist shop tells you that your clan has some iconic world-famous tartan that you must buy, they might be making it up. Movies and TV shows have overused this content, leading many to mistakenly believe that Scotland has many mysterious and powerful clans. In reality, most people are descended from farmers, and they don't seem to like nobility much. Asking if they belong to a clan can make them uncomfortable, as it implies you might treat them differently based on their answer. Number 4. Must try haggis. If you see how haggis is made for the first time, you might feel a bit scared, but in Scotland you must try this dish because its taste is truly wonderful. Haggis is an ancient Scottish dish that has been around for so long that no one remembers exactly when it first appeared. It is a unique combination of sheep offal prepared according to a very special recipe. Haggis looks plumper and fuller than the black pudding we're familiar with. The origin of this dish stems from wanting to make use of the leftover parts of sheep to create a new flavor. Additionally, many people wanted to preserve it for a long time, so they came up with the idea of stuffing the ingredients into a sheep's stomach and boiling it to prevent spoilage. Dubbed the national dish of Scotland, haggis not only stands out in appearance but also leaves a lasting impression with its taste. Ingredients such as heart, liver, and lungs are finely chopped along with onions, oatmeal, and spices. A bit of sheep fat is also added to give the dish a moist, rich, and fragrant texture. After mixing all the ingredients, they are stuffed into a sheep's stomach and tightly bound. Biting into haggis allows you to feel the crispy stomach, the rich and savory offal blended harmoniously, delighting your taste buds. Mashed potatoes add a fragrant touch that dispels any initial hesitation. Many places also serve it with a sauce to enhance the overall flavor, making it even more special and memorable. Although it might not be as visually appealing as other delicacies, haggis makes a unique mark with its finesse and allure, leaving diners enchanted. Number 3. Don't buy silly souvenirs. Surely no one buys these things, but stores sell them, so someone must be buying them. No one in Scotland will be impressed by your fake kilt or your silly ginger wig. That said, there are plenty of great souvenirs you can buy in Scotland. If you've completed the North Coast 500, you can get a t-shirt, bumper sticker, and other cool items. If you want a souvenir you can chew or gulp down, try shortbread or heather honey. For natural cosmetics, try products from Aran Scents of Scotland, or any of the myriad cosmetics made from Scottish heather that seem to be everywhere in Scotland. If you travel to the more rural and remote areas, you'll also find lots of unique and unusual crafts from local artisans and small businesses. These are the best souvenirs to buy. Local items are meaningful and unique, and they contribute to the local economy. Support the little guy. Number 2. No adding alcohol to whiskey. You can add ice to whiskey, but other than ice, you are not allowed to add anything to this drink when in Scotland. Like wine, whiskey has characteristics unique to the region where it is produced. Scotland has 6 main whiskey-producing regions: Highland Island, Lowlands, Islay, Campbelltown, and Speyside. Islay whiskey has strong phenolic characteristics of peat, salt, and herbal aromas. Island whiskey leans towards smoky and slightly salty flavors. Highland whiskey has a strong malt flavor. Speyside whiskey is sweet and fruity. Lowland whiskey has floral and subtle flavors. And Campbelltown whiskey combines flavors of salt water, peat, and fruit. Each type strongly reflects its region, so adding another liquor or any other drink to whiskey is seen as disrespectful to the people who make it. Believe it or not, the bartender might take your drink back for this reason. Number 1. The country of islands. You can't call Scotland England, but you can certainly call it an island nation, as this is entirely accurate. With over 790 islands, Scotland is like a miniature island kingdom stretching from the east coast to the far north. Each island has its own unique beauty, from towering cliffs to pristine white beaches, from lush green fields to ancient towns. With more than 790 islands, large and small, Scotland is like a miniature island kingdom stretching from the east coast to the far north. Each island has its own unique beauty, from steep cliffs to smooth white sand beaches, from lush green fields to ancient towns. The largest and most famous island is the Isle of Skye, with its majestic Cuillin Mountains, clear blue lochs, and spectacular waterfalls. The Isle of Mull attracts tourists with its gentle hills, quaint villages, and historical sites. The Isle of Arran, known as Scotland in miniature, has everything you could find in Scotland, from mountains and lochs to beaches and villages. For history buffs, the Orkney Islands are an ideal destination. They feature important archaeological sites like Skara Brae and Maeshowe, giving visitors deep insights into prehistoric life. The Shetland Islands, at Scotland's northernmost point, offer wild and unique landscapes along with a distinctive traditional culture. Thank you for watching the video about the 17 forbidden laws and strange things that only exist in Scotland. We hope this information provided you with interesting insights and helped you understand the unique culture of Scotland. If you have the opportunity, visit Scotland to witness these strange and fascinating things for yourself. And don't forget to share this video with your friends and family if you find it helpful.